Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 presented by Stakes. Today we are talking about Auburn's game with Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, not an easy out of conference game. Auburn, my goodness, if you stayed up and watched Auburn and A&M as I did, then God bless you. That game was everything we had hoped it wouldn't be. But you know what? Auburn keeps fighting, and the Tigers got to win. And now this is the setup game before Auburn's huge game with Alabama.
Yep, Auburn's been playing better. It's very clear to anyone who's watched them. Even that loss at Mississippi State's a game they could have won. And now you kind of look at, again, just finally getting that win. And I know there are people, other fan bases making fun of them for celebrating the way they did after that win. But given what the programs went through, I think they had earned that moment to kind of exhale a little bit and finally pick up a win, given, again, everything that's happened pretty much the entire season, I think you could say at this point, and off season of last season. So, I think it's, Cadillac Williams has got a lot of fan support behind him right now. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with the coaching situation, but if you tell me, if you ask me the question, do I think Auburn's going to be ready to play in this game? I can answer that with a resounding yes, because again, that's been the case thus far since he's taken over there. And again, not an easy matchup here though against the Western Kentucky team, 7-4, and has done some pretty good things this season. And certainly, as we know, we'll throw the ball a bit. So.
Yeah, Tyson Hilton's a really good offensive coach. Western averaging 37.2 points a game, Auburn giving up 28.8. Western has fumbled 8 times, Auburn's recovered 7. Western's thrown 8 picks, Auburn's only got 3. Taking sacks out, Western likes to run 31 plays a game and pass 47. On those, Western averaging 5.4 yards per pass play, 7.8 yards per pass play. Auburn only giving up 5.4. Auburn's pass defense, I guess, in a kind of a lost season has been a little underrated. Western rushing 5.4 yards a carry, Auburn giving up 5.5. Auburn's defense was tremendous in that second half against A&M. A&M had negative yardage midway through the third quarter for that half, but I'm not sure what that says about the Auburn defense. It may say a little bit more about A&M's offense because Auburn had been having fits, especially in the run game heading into that one.
I mean, this is strength on strength, right? Statistically, when you look at it, I mean, you're talking about a team, again, that's going to pass the ball. There's no doubt they're going to throw the ball. And, Austin Reed is, when you just look at the numbers, right? I mean, he's throwing, you just go down the game log. I mean, he's throwing 30 plus times a game for the most part. Some games he's hitting 40 plus. There's one, I think he threw 56 times. So they're going to throw the ball. And I think that's where for Auburn, this has been your strength defensively because, on the ground, as we've talked about before, has not been strength in terms of stopping the run. And I think this is where it kind of sets up okay for Auburn in that regard because it is a team where, you're basically both teams are going to be saying, try to stop us if you're Western Kentucky, and Auburn's going to be, well, try to score on us and, through the air. And I think that's kind of what you're going to see here because it is kind of a fun matchup to think about in that regard. So, but you mentioned it, Chris. I know A&M struggled offensively, but Auburn's defense was not playing around in that game as we saw. And again, I think this is a team that is just in a better situation overall. But I think defensively, they have been giving up some points, as we said at times. Go through that streak there. I think it was 4 in a row where they given up 39 or more points. Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State. So now you got a team coming out that's going to try to challenge them through the air. So that'll be kind of an entertaining matchup just to see how Auburn defends this offense, which, like I said, I mean, it certainly is an offense that knows what it's doing. And if Auburn is not ready to play defensively, then yes, I think it's pretty clear that, there's certainly a combination of those wide receivers for Western Kentucky that will be able to make some plays here.
Okay, before we hit the other side of the ball, a word from our sponsor, Stakes. You can predict sports better than the crowd for a chance to win NFTs. With Stakes, players can cement their sports predictions against friends, other fans, and influencers forever. Don't let your sports genius go overlooked. Join Stakes. Have the best predictions captured in the moment. Go to playwithstakes.com/14. Use our invite code Southeastern14 for a double welcome bonus. It is a predictions app. It is free to play and help out those who help us here at the show. Okay, Blake, when Auburn has got the ball, run offense has been fairly potent. Cadillac Williams will not be running the ball. He'll just be the head coach. But they've got another future NFL back in Tank Bigsby. I mean, you never know. Stranger things have happened at Auburn than them suiting up a head coach and letting them run the ball. But I don't expect that to happen. Anyway, Auburn is scoring 22.9 points a game. Western giving up 22.3. As we noted, Auburn's offense has been better of late, although that didn't show up in the A&M game. Western has recovered 11 fumbles. Auburn has lost 9. Western's got 13 picks. Auburn has given up 12. Let's see. Sacks. Auburn has been sacked 27 times, and Western has registered 24 sacks. Rushing plays, that takes out sacks. Western giving up 4.4 per rush. Auburn getting 5.5. And pass play, Auburn averaging 5.8. Western giving up 5.9. What do you see here?
I mean, Auburn's going to run the ball. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we kind of know. I mean, Robbie Ashford, Texas A&M game, he threw it 13 times. He ran it 16 times. The Mississippi State game, he threw it 22 times, ran it 18 times. And guess where the success came, Chris? It came in the running part of the equation versus more so than the passing. I mean, he threw for 60 yards against A&M, 75 yards against Mississippi State. Yes, he threw for 285 against Arkansas, but the 2 games before that, it was like 140, 165. So we've said, I mean, his rushing attempts are continued to be hovering near that 20 attempt range these last 3 games, or even beyond that, I guess. So I think that's it. I mean, Auburn's going to try to run the ball, but not just with Robbie Ashford, right? It is something that I think their offense would take Bigsby, what he can do. Jarquez Hunter, we're talking about a team here that, they can, not the same, not exactly the same with Florida, but you are talking about 3 guys with those 3 in particular that can break off big plays on the ground. And that is going to be the challenge of Western Kentucky, is being able to stop what they can do, because through the air, there's just not a whole lot to believe that Auburn will even try to do a whole lot in that regard. So I think it's as simple as that. It's just, can Auburn keep its momentum going with those 3 guys on the ground? Because if they can get going with that, those 3 are talented enough to break some big plays and give Auburn some points in this game.
Okay, last I saw, line on this, Auburn a 7-point favorite with an over-under of 52. Based on what these teams have done, the over-under should be more like 55.5. The predicted final by Vegas, 30-23. Man, I don't know what to think here, because Auburn's defense hasn't been good, but it's been stronger against the pass, which is what Western does best. Western hasn't played anybody as good as Auburn all year. The closest it came was probably a game with Indiana back in September that it lost in overtime. Auburn's better than Indiana. Gosh, what have you got from covers that gives us a hint on what to look for here?
I mean, the under 6-0 in Western Kentucky's last 6 games. The over's 4-0 in Auburn's last 4 games against a team with a winning record. So those 2 kind of, but that's really it.
I thought the over would hit in Auburn's last game, and that was not even close.
Well, and here's the thing:
but
if this turns into a shootout, Chris, my question is, if Auburn gets behind early, and they have to abandon the run in a certain situation, then I think that's where things get tricky, right? Because I don't know what that looks like in terms of them passing the ball effectively. But I think that it goes back to the initial discussion. Strength on strength here when you talk about Western Kentucky's offense trying to go against a pass defense that's been pretty good this season. And I think that's your key to the game here, because I do think Auburn will be able to do some things offensively on the ground, just given the talent that's there. But to me, it's, how does that play out? I said it. I think I was kind of half joking. Give the keys to the Cadillac at this point, because he's had these guys ready to play. And again, I think they'll come out ready to play in this one. That line is a little tricky. That's why we're not professional bettors, and I would not bet on this game for anything, just given I think Western Kentucky's a talented team. I think Auburn's finding some momentum, but this is just one of those tricky spreads that I would want no part of as a bettor, but that's why I'm not. But I'm gonna pick Auburn to win the game just because I think we've seen what a lot of confidence and momentum behind Cadillac right now, what he's doing with his team, and they bought in, and I think they'll be ready for this one.
Yeah, here's one more thing to look at. Auburn minus 11 in turnovers, Western plus 9. Again, very disparate schedules, but just something to consider. I'm with you. I have no feel for where this is going. I would take Auburn to win. I might take Western Kentucky, but that's a big might. My bigger thing is I would just stay the heck away from this one because there are mixed signals all over the place.
There you go. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, we are previewing every single SEC game this week. If you hit that subscribe button, you won't miss any of them. He's Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14 presented by Steaks, and thanks for watching.